Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Om Ganganapate Namaha. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Maha Saraswati Rupena Samstita Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Divilingaya Namaha, Ātma-Lingaya Namaha, Dvadash Jyotirlingaya Namo Namaha, Namah Shivaya, Shri Hanuman Ji Maharaj ki Jai, Dharma ki Jai ho, Adharma ka nash ho, Praniyon mein sadbhavna ho, Vishwa ka kalyan ho, Namah Parvati Pate, Har Har Mahadev Har. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 2nd of June 2025. I want to offer my obeisances, prostrations to all the great sages throughout the world today who have yet to come, who have come in the past, and to the one without a second, Parabrahma, Ishvara, Paramatma, residing in the Hridaya Akash, in the heart space and everywhere, in all places, at all time. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. With that bhavna, we are continuing to examine Navada Bhakti. Navada Bhakti is the 9 forms of devotion. 9 forms of devotion are extraordinarily powerful, and they are the mechanism. Excuse me here, just for a moment. They are the means. They are the extraordinary way of trying to realize, trying to open this amazing dimension of pure love. That is its goal. So just a quick review, what are the 9 forms? And today we're going to just start the Ātma-Nivedanam. We could continue talking about the others for a long time, but we do need to move on certainly, just so we can cover the material properly. The 9 forms of devotion are Shravanam, Kirtanam, so Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Ātma-Nivedanam. There are 9 forms. Right? So Shravanam means listening to the glories, stories, and teachings of the divine. This includes hearing scriptures, discourses, and devotional songs, like what we're doing right now. All of us together, this is a form of Shravan Bhakti. Kirtan is kind of what we just did, just moments back. Singing or chanting the names and praises of the divine. This can be done individually or in congregational setting. That is Kirtanam. Third is Smaranam. That is remembering God, constantly remembering the divine with a focused mind, meditating on the form, attributes, or lila, pastimes. That is Smaranam. Fourth is Padasevanam, service to the Lord, service to the feet of God, serving the lotus feet of the deity or the Guru, or Guru and God, symbolizes humble service and surrender. This also can extend to serving humanity as a manifestation of the divine. Right? So Padasevanam, it really needs to increase to that level where we are just in the seva modality 24 hours a day. So it starts with the Murti of Paramatma. If one has physical Guru, that's fine. And remember, anything we learn from anybody, that is also Guru. And in reality, at the highest levels, everything is Guru. Everything is always teaching us something, if we are open to understanding that. So that's the highest point. But there's, of course, Brahmanishta Guru, the whole thing about, the enlightened sages, Satpurusha, saintly qualities, which we always talk about. So that is certainly Guru Tattva. Brahmanishta Shotriya. So that's another, I don't want to go into that right now, but Bhagwan or Bhagwan ke Sant, to serve their feet, means the qualities of the saints and the upasana of Paramatma. Ye do baat samajhni chahiye isme. That is Padasevanam. And then as we continue that Padasevanam, then we just are in a seva modality. We want to wish well for all. All of our activity is offered to Paramatma, residing in the heart of every being. And that is where it reaches such an extraordinary state all the way through. Again, we don't want to go into that too much right now. Then the Archanam, that is puja or ritualistic worship of the deity, with offerings and prayers according to scriptural guidelines. Like I was mentioning here in Delaware, we have our Mahalakshmi Devasthanam. I think it's one of the one mandir which I've seen the maximum amount of archana is done. I've never seen any place like that in the US at least. Maybe it's there, other places, I'm sure it's there. But this is just amazing, right? So it's done at the extraordinary levels of archana with mantras, so they have combined many pieces together. Original Vedic tradition is done there, and it is a lot of archana. I mean, it's just amazing. Properly done with the properly trained pujaris and priests and others, so amazing, right? So that is archana, and that is a beautiful way to connect with Bhagwan. It is a physical activity. We can adorn the deity, we can sing the mantras and do the proper pujan and do the proper Ashtottar Namavalis and all those fantastic things we can do. What does that do for us? It is a very active process of doing something continuously. Rather than just sitting in abstract meditation, it is a constant doing. So one thing after another, one thing after another. That is Archan Bhakti. That's the fifth one. The sixth one is Vandanam. Offering prostrations and respectful salutations to the divine, recognizing their supreme position. So the Bhagavan ka jo supreme position hai, that Paramatma is the supreme, and unko vandan karte. The vandan is recognizing that supreme position. The Swami means the one who is the topmost controller of everything. It says salutations, respect, adoration, like this. This is Vandanam. You see, so we can take the name. For example, if you have Murti of Bhagwan Ram and we're doing Vandan to Ramji, how do we do that? So we stand and then we do this bowing down like this. This is one type of pranam. Another is called Panchang Pranam with the 5 movements of the body. It is like bowing down. I cannot show it to you right now, but at some other point we can show that. And then there's the Sashtang Dandvat. So men are supposed to do the Sashtang. Women can go up to Panchang. They shouldn't be doing Sashtang Dandvat Pranam. Right? So so again, sometimes I think they might be doing it in some places. But generally the guideline is for men to do Sashtang Dandvat Pranam. Women to do Panchang Pranam. Like this. So that is Vandanam. And when we're doing Vandanam, there is the bhav inside of great respect. I mean, it is respect, but it is a prostration. Meaning, I'm recognizing your supremacy, your greatness. See, when we are respecting someone's qualities, just a human level, we are saying, "Wow, what a great person that is!" Wow, I bow down to your excellence. We are in awe of your greatness, like this. That is Vandanam. Okay, the next one is Dasyam, cultivating the mood for service and servant relationship. That's the Hanumanji Maharaj is a prime example of that. Lakshmanji is a prime example. So many are examples. So this Dasyam modality is that servitude that I'm constantly at the feet of the Guru, at the feet of Paramatma, again and again and again, and in service modality. So that Dasatva Bhav, that is the 7th Bhakti. Sakhyam is the one we were talking about last several days, developing a friendship with the divine as a close friend, sharing sorrows, joys, confidences, so many things. We talked about that already. So those are the first 8 forms. Now today, we're going to start, I'm going to just take just 6-7 minutes here, just to start this subject of Ātma-Nivedanam. That is self-surrender. This is the 9th Bhakti. So these 8, you could look at it this way. These 8, as they are practiced, they lead to the 9th. And once the 9th is completely at the highest levels, it leads to the 10th Bhakti. That is non-directional love, which we will talk about probably another week from now. We're going to spend about a good week on this Ātma-Nivedanam Bhakti and see where it takes us. So, a couple of features. What is Ātma-Nivedanam? What does that mean actually? So, Atma means, in this context, the Jivatma or the individualized soul, we're offering the body, mind, ego, and the soul to Paramatma. Nivedanam means offering, submission, surrender, without retaining any sense of individual ownership or autonomy. Let's be clear about these 2 words. Ātma-Nivedanam. So Atma means me, but me meaning the whole thing, the physical body, this physical body, first of all. Then mind. My will versus thy will. As the Christian prayer goes, right? Thy will be done. Thy kingdom come. Not my will be done. Not my kingdom, your kingdom. Like this. Kingdom meaning the reality of God. Bhagwan ka dham. So Nivedanam means offering, submission and surrender. 3 points. That is called Nivedanam. And Ātma-Nivedanam is the highest offering. Those 8 forms of bhakti, they lead to this one, 9th form. This is only Sachin's interpretation, but we will look at Naradji's interpretation, which is, that's the real one. I mean, this is just something that is in my mind right now. Narad Bhakti Sutra bhi thoda dekhenge. We wanted to cover it for a long time. Might as well take this opportunity to do that, and then we will connect it back into the Gita and Vivek Chudamani, because this is all an extension of the bhakti aspects what Shankaracharya ji has mentioned anyway. So it's the same thing. Let's be clear. Ātma-Nivedanam implies total surrender of the body, mind, will, and ego and soul to God. Now, what does this mean? Bodily surrender means what? What is that? What is bodily surrender? Well, that the actions of the body, the kriya of the physical body, is performed in the light of God. We've talked about that a couple of times before. Every action, when we wake up in the morning, Om Namo Narayanaya, that name of the Lord is given. Some names are taken. Even while brushing and bathing and doing those simple morning routines, then this smaranam can go on, the name can go on, even some discourse can be listened to. You'll be surprised. Brushing your teeth, shaving, brushing teeth, gargling, things like that take a couple of minutes, before you go into the actual shower. And you can put on a small spiritual discourse. No problem about that. Or put some mantra in the background, or absolutely okay. Kriya, that in every kriya, shubh and ashubh kriya. I don't want to be too graphic about that, but something like urination. If you're going for urination, wo bhi bhakti hai. Do you think about that? People say, how can you say that is bhakti? Why not? Who says it's not? Of course. You can take the name of God, and in fact, not only can we, that is what Ātma-Nivedanam is in every action. When we're taking food, when we're preparing food, that we can understand. But something like, going for a walk, yes, that is there. Before calling a friend, say Shri Ram, Bhagwan ka naam, koi naam lena, and then call somebody. Meaning this is where every action of the body and then of the mind is offered to Paramatma. So the man karma vachan means what? The actions we perform physically. Vachan meaning the speech that we use. It's every word that is spoken out of our mouth is offered to Paramatma first. How beautiful is that? That's it. There's your formula for excellent communication. Don't need to worry about anything. Before talking, just remember the name, whichever name you like. Shri Durga Ye Namaha, or Shri Krishna Ye Namaha, Shri Kalika Ye Namaha. Aapki jo ichha hai. Whichever name you want to take. Doesn't matter which religion, which tradition. God is only, wo to ek hi tattva hai. It doesn't care what name you call. People are tied up in all these names. Chhod do ye sab baat, this divisiveness. You can never reach Vedanta with all the divisiveness. The names are many. The tattva is only one. There's only one tattva. You can call water anything you want. Isko pani kaho, ke isko water kaho, ke isko jal kaho. It's the same thing. It's the tattva is only one. Use any name you want. Doesn't matter. But that bhavana comes, that feeling comes, that before talking to somebody, just take the name of the Lord one time. Shri Ram. Ram Naam is most easy. Absolutely easy. Ram. Isme kya? We don't need to have any other complex thing. Ram. That's it. Ram mein aram hai. Fantastic, right? Beautiful. Ram Bhagwan ka naam. Krishna Bhagwan ka naam. If you believe in Christianity, Jesus ka naam lena. Jis bhav se lena. No problem. Jo bhi Nav Durga ji ke swarup hai, Devi ke kitne swarup hai, people, whichever one you feel at that time, or name that comes up in the mind, take that one. But take that before talking to somebody. Do it. This is our sadhana for today. Because we want to reach Ātma-Nivedanam Bhakti. To reach that, these are the things to practice throughout the whole day. That every action is offered to Paramatma. So we can never have any conflict with anybody. The listening to others is beautiful. When others are talking, that we're listening in such a way that Paramatma is listening through us. Think about that. That's very interesting. You say, I'm listening to you. But do we ever think about the fact that Bhagavan is listening through us? So when somebody else is talking, remember Ishtadevata, and that Ishtadevata is inside of me, and he or she or that Tattva is listening to this person. So how can there be anger or doshas, or even if somebody is very upset or they're behaving in some negative way, jo bhi ho, if Bhagavan Krishna is seeing that, how would he react to that? Would he react even? Or would Shankaracharya ji react? How would they listen to this? How would they listen to another person? With what bhavana would they listen? This is our sadhana. Guru Dattatreya, for example, Guru Dattatreya ji ki bhi bahut parampara hai. Amazing paramparas are there in Maharashtra, in Gujarat, and other places, right? If Guru Dattatreya ji is listening to somebody, the same person we're listening to, how would they listen? What would be their bhav? So place yourself in their position. That when we place ourselves in their position, something magical happens. We are not listening anymore. We are now in the Sakshi Bhav, the Drashta. Because that Paramatma is inside through Pratishta. That is called Pran Pratishta. Pran Pratishta is in the external Murti. We do that so that that external Murti, that the Pratishthit Murti, is Pratishthit inside of us. We ourselves become the Murti. Not that we become God in that dualist, not in that wrong sense, that, not that ahankar thing, but that pratishta ho jati inside the entire body, mind, senses. When does this happen? When does the pratishta of Bhagavan happen in us? When the body, mind, the will, our will, W-I-L-L, will, and our ahankar, and the Atman itself is completely, totally surrendered at the feet of God. That is Nivedanam, is offered. We always want to keep something for us. We don't want to do this. Who wants to do this? Okay, this is the 9th bhakti. To do this is extraordinary. Even if this is done even for 5 minutes, if we're in that state for 5 minutes, we become enlightened. It's not a question of time. It's a question of shift. It's a shifting of the ahankar. And, into that complete connection, then our individual vasanas and all the things that we want to do that are apart from the divine will, from what the Gita is teaching us, from what the Ramayana is teaching us, from what the Bhagavatam is teaching us, from what Bhagwan Shankar has taught us in so many scriptures, in so many ways, what Vachanamrut teaches us, when we are doing things in our life that are contradictory to that is my will. It's very simple. And thy will, but to find out what is God's will, we have to go to the scriptures and the paramparas, bona fide paramparas, that are showing its interpretation, and the great sages who have come, who have shown through their life what is that Brahma Tattva, Adhyatmik Tattva. This is how the will of God is known. People say, how can you know God's will? You can try to just meditate in nature and try to connect with God without any scriptures. Try it and we'll be stuck inside the mind. If we are not stuck inside the mind like the ancient rishis, then Paramatma ka sab gyan aa jata hai just by sitting in nature. Because Ishavasya idam sarvam. But you have to do the research from the point zero again. You will not be able to do that. 10,000 years of research has already been done. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need to reinvent the Gita. We don't need to reinvent the Upanishads. We need to understand them. They have been time tested, and experiment with them, experience them, and live in them. And when we do that, then what is the will of divinity, divyata, param tattva? That will it becomes known to the buddhi. And that is why that level of knowledge that is come, that is what will bring about the the awakening of the intelligence eventually towards Paramatma, and that is called Prajnananam Brahma. Prajna opens up by knowing the will of Paramatma through the Shastras, Sat Shastra. And this is called Vedic tradition. The Vedas are, of course, mantras. Then the Upanishads are also mantras. And then from there you have Brahma Sutras and other things. Those are so. But the will that has come from enlightened sages, where they're apaurushaya. So the scriptures written by Vedavyasji are apaurushaya. They're not written by him. They're written through him. That's the difference. That is why it is called Apaurushaya. The rishis that came before Vedavyasji, they were sitting in dhyan, tremendous amount of dhyan. And from that meditation, that Virat Narayan, jisko Virat Narayan, uska anubhav hota hai. The Purusha Suktam that came out from there. The Ved mantras descended in the mind of the rishis. And then the rishis then were able to speak them. The Sanskrit language came from there. The 52 Sanskrit akshars came from there. And from that, the actual, the dimension of mukti opens up through the rishis. This is the extraordinary tradition that is there. So we don't need to reinvent this tradition. We need to understand it. It is not just a tradition. It is an experiential, experimental, and direct science. That is what Shankaracharya ji says, aparoksha anubhuti. Aparoksha means not something in the past. You cannot say that something, Krishna was in the past and Ram was in the past and these mantras are some old mythological. No, it's not like that. It is present here, right now, because our life is in the present. So it is aparoksha anubhuti. Anubhuti means realization of this tattva. So all of this is possible in Ātma-Nivedanam Bhakti. That is the point. The Ātma-Nivedanam Bhakti is where we recognize the will of Bhagavan Krishna. Take the Gita, 700 verses of the Gita. If we want to know what does Krishna want from us, if we believe in Krishna, we have devotion towards Krishna, the Gita, he's telling us what he wants. We have to just study it, read it, understand it, absorb, listen to commentaries, whatever, all that thing. We will know where is his will, where is our will. It's very simple. It's very simple. So that's the way it goes. And so now there's one more point here, and then we will close here. The surrender of the ahankar. The ahankar has two functions, me and mine. I am, and this is mine. That functionally, it is called Vivarika level of ego. That is not an issue. Vivarika Satyam. But the ahankar that is surrendered, the surrendering of the ego, meaning the bhakta in bhakti, in the devotional level, no longer maintains the sense of I or mine. All identity is dissolved in the Lord's identity. Bhagwan ki jo identity hai, Bhagwan ka jo swarup hai, isme the I and the mine is, name is still Sachin, name is this, this form is there. But my entrapment in the limitations of the I and the mind, and we'll talk about that in more detail, but that is gone. That is completely gone. In this Ātma-Nivedanam. तो मेरा कौन है? तू ही मेरा है. कौन मेरा है? सब मेरे है. Everybody's mine. Not just human beings. Human being to ठीक. All animals, plants. This is Guru Dattatreya ji. Everybody's mine. All beings. Doesn't matter what body they have. They're mine. Can we live in that? Think about that. That is where the I and the mind goes away. We are ordinary human being. This is my limited family. Yeah, of course, functional family is there. You're going to have relatives of the body. The relatives of this body, immediate relatives. Actually, all of humanity is one body. All humanity is connected together, is related together. How can we say? That's why the Bible also says, love thy neighbor as thyself. Love humanity. Jesus' commandments are there. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, this teaching is there. Because we are one people. Not just people, we are all one life actually. And so this is where the I and the mind gets obliterated in the Ātma-Nivedanam Bhakti. Ahankar gets surrender of the ego. Usko nivedan, surrender is okay, but the word nivedanam, nivedanam means that you are completely, there is this full offering, submission, surrender, letting go, relinquishing. These are the words that come, that are close. Nivedanam. It's a state it's a state. It's not some physical thing. It's like you can take the ego and offer it like that. No, but we can offer a flower. When we have a rose, take just one rose, even one rose petal. You'll be surprised. One rose petal is enough for God realization. Not even one rose. You don't even need the full rose. Just one petal is enough. How? Hold the petal in the hand. Have a small diya. Have the murti of Paramatma and Bhakta and all the great sages. And simply, with that, the ahankar, completely from inside out, offer one petal at the feet of Sri Krishna, you're liberated. That's it. There's nothing more required. Wohi nahi hota. How do we do that? Because the ahankar is so deep inside, it doesn't ever want to let it go. Let go. It wants to do even sadhana through its ahankar. It doesn't want to let go of itself at the feet of Paramatma. That is Ātma-Nivedanam. This is the 9th Bhakti. We could talk about this for hours. It's just fantastic. Let's continue tomorrow. We'll spend, I would love to spend the next whole year on this, but we'll spend at least another week or so on Ātma-Nivedanam. Bahut maja aayega. A lot of amazing things are here from Bhagavatam and from Narad Bhakti Sutra and all that. And then we will then someday in the future continue back into Vivek Chudamani. So Vivek Chudamani hai, sab ek hi tattva hai. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Mahadurga Rupena Samstita Namaste Namaste Namo Namaha Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundai Viche Om Glom Hum Klim Jum Saha Jwalaya Jwalaya Jwala Jwala Prajwala Prajwala Aim Reem Klim Chamundai Viche Jwalaham Sam Lam Ksham Phat Swaha Om Durge Durge Rakshini Tha Tha Swaha Om Divilingaya Namaha Urdhvalingaya Namaha Anandalingaya Namaha Chandraya Namaha Suryaya Namaha Nakshatra Vigrahamate Namaha Om Trambakam Yajame Sugandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamam Mritat Namah Shivaya Shri Radha Krishna Arpanamastu Om Hrim Swaha.